Hello, everyone. It is Thursday afternoon. Welcome to Athletes Thriving. I am live. My name is Tenille, the creator of this incredibly beautiful group and community of Athletes Thriving in Perimenopause and Beyond, and owner of Tenille Hoogland Applied Athletics, creator of and founder of Mindset Nutrition Training and Recovery Integrated Training System. Man, did I just have a lot of fun. We just completed week 6 of the going through the MNTR ITS with the new athletes that are part of Team Element. And man, is it powerful. Wow, that's all I can say. Wow, is it powerful. I would love you to come in and experience it as well if you have any questions. Like it's so hard to explain sometimes, just the transformation and the piece that people have. Like they talked about it just being at the depth of the core of being able to integrate and finally learn all the things that what it means to be athletes, what it means to open up into a whole new world of integrated training, and how we can bring in the pieces and start to understand ourselves in a different way, because it includes how we're being and how we're actually training. It's just so super cool. Sorry, I'm on a high. And today, and it's so perfect because one of the things that we were talking about in today, we are looking at different ways of like when it all goes wrong, when we have set our goals, when we've identified what we want to create, when we're doing the intention, and then it isn't, it's just not happening, or we just don't know. And we talked about the word of failure and what does to fail mean. And today we're talking about fear. But I think when it comes to fear, we also think about fail. And to fail, one of the things that one of my athletes said is it's like, it's so finite. And so much of our fears are about being in this finite world of failure. And there's 3 things and 3 stories that I wanted to share with you all today. And one of them is when I was a pro athlete, and what it meant to me, what I was truly scared of, and why I ended up in the world and in the position that I was in, and yeah, truly just crazy. Fear of water, fear of yeah, and it's interesting. Another comment is like the fear of getting injured is another one. And I'm going to talk about the fear of the water and how I coach people around that. And then coming back, there's just like so interesting. And I was just checking on the Facebook, and it's just like there was a comment as I'm 42 and things aren't going right, and maybe as my competitive days over, and what's happening, and how do I do this. And I really understand this athlete and this fear of, well, maybe things are shifting. And it's been really exciting for me because I've committed to, in this 2024, to really training to the best of my ability, coming back to the best of my ability for gravel nationals here in Canada, and all that entails. So I want to talk a little bit about my fears around that. So the pro athlete, my fear there, and it has to do with this finite mean of failure too. That's why I brought it in. Is when I remember sitting down, my coach at the time was Zane Castro, and I was in Austin, Texas. I just had sold everything I owned, and I had decided, okay, I'm going to do this pro athlete thing. I'm going to go for it. And I was sitting there at his kitchen table, and Tara Castro was there, and we were talking about the training plan, and we were talking about my goals, and I wanted to make it to the Olympics at this time. And I said to him, I said, my biggest fear is that my body's not strong enough. And when I think about that comment, I realize now that fear is what drove me so hard into the ground. That fear is what drove me to incredible to disordered eating. It drove me into hormone change at a really young age, in which I lost my period for many years. It drove me to just get the training done, to be really committed, like I've got to prove something here. And I think that when we think about our fears, if we can really grapple with them, if we can really give ourselves this space and really hear, and the beauty about being in perimenopause and being in your 40s and your 50s, and bless you if you're in your 60s because you've gone through it and you're that much wiser. I was doing an interview for Boston College today, and I was talking to Kathy Schneider. And she was just like, "Oh, you're such a baby," because I'm going to turn 46 this year. And she's like, "I'm 68 and have so much wisdom." And I was just like, "Oh man." And if I think I'm starting to let go and release expectations, just wait until you're 68. It's going to be a beautiful thing. In any case, I think that if we give ourselves the space to really examine what the fear is, and then we give ourselves the release to find a new way. So I wonder, and if I look at a lot of the professional athletes, and I look at a lot of the amateur athletes, and I look at a lot of recreational athletes, you do not need to be a pro to be taking on things in the way that, I was doing it at the elite level, to just drive. Where's that drive and where's the fear? Why can't we see that there could be an easier way or a different way to optimize our performance, to find our health? So that's my first thing. Run toward those fears and look at them and give yourself space around them. The second thing that I wanted to talk about briefly was how we overcome fear of the water. And I was living in Austin, Texas. At this time, I was already coaching. This was like, oh my gosh, when was this? This was like in 2007 or 2008 or 9 or something like that. I don't know. No, it wasn't. It was 2010 or 2011. And so it feels like a while ago anyway. And we have this lake there. And it was one of the exercises. It was also to look at just precisely when people were thinking about, yeah, but what's going to happen when I get into that water? And we just sit around there and sit in a circle and start thinking about, like, yeah, what do you fear? What could happen? Somebody's going to kick your goggles off. You're going to get twisted up in weeds. You're going to get kicked in the face. Think of all the things. Like, I know it's probably, it's like, go toward the things that could happen. And then let's rewrite that story. Let's try to figure out, okay, so I got kicked in the face and my goggles fell off. So what now? What happens? How are we going to deal with it? How are you going to deal with the stress response? How do we train for it? How do we think about when we get into that pool, when there's no weeds, there's a black line? How is it that we're going to learn how to bring that heart rate down? What about seeing everybody, lined up right to left? And the anxiety that sometimes that brings, or just knowing, like, how do I breathe? Think about, what are the skills that I need? How do I take this on? What are the conversations I need to have? What are my mottos that I'm going to tell myself? Don't run away from the fears. Give yourself space and time with them, and then create solutions. Third, returning to the start line. Man, did this take me a long time to come to. And it's interesting. Took all the time I needed. And so, okay, granted, I have a 4 and a 6-year-old at home. Life is busy. I'm in the thick of it. And, trying to working and loving my life as a business owner, and sharing my expertise and my knowledge and time and energy with my athletes. And I was like, before now, I just didn't think I didn't have the energy to prioritize it. But this past year, last year, we started talking about gravel nationals as the element race team. And I started thinking, well, what would that feel like if I actually start training again? And I train, I'm in health. I'm very fit, and very strong. But for training, I could have a comparative model. And this is what I was actually, I feared, is this like, what if I'm not living up to my expectation of myself? And that's the biggest thing. What if I can't reach and can't do my best? And I think, again, as I consider this thing, it's like there's a number of things that I have to overcome. It's prioritizing and letting and allowing myself to have this priority. And even though is it selfish? Is it good? I think of my kids coming and watching me race, and I'm like, that's the mama I want them to see. That's the woman I want them to see. And that excites me. And that's the person I want to say that it takes time and it takes dedication. And mama's on the bike. She's gonna get strong. And they understand that now. And that excites me to do that. I had to find that in there though, because a lot of what was stopping me was the comparison piece of could I reach? Like, what is it? What is it that I'm after? And my why had to shift into something really different. Yes, I want to train to the best of my ability, but my why of doing that isn't for the outcome anymore. It's not about achieving a certain standard at the gravel nationals. I made it so it's a big race, so it's really quite motivating. and, but it's about coming around and prioritizing, and it is now about what I want my sons, who are very young, to see what a woman can do, and what a woman can do who's 46, what a woman can do who's 50, because it ain't just me, it's my element race team, and we're not all in our 40s. We have, we're all different ages. And that's what I want for you, is I want you to come into and understand that sometimes when we are fearing doing something, maybe we need to re-look at what the why is. Maybe it is not what we've always had as a goal or how we've related to something, and we can shift into something else. And I coach this. This is what I do in the MNTR. This is what we talk about. And one of the interesting things in week 6 that we just were talking about, it's like, why am I so darn passionate about the process of the MNTR integrated training system for every single athlete that comes into my team element? And that is because I believe in it so deeply as a process that we can learn from and take on. If I didn't go through this process, I wouldn't be taking on the goals, wouldn't be lit up, wouldn't be focused, wouldn't be inspired, wouldn't have the confidence. And that's what it's about. This is what I'm so stoked for. So what I hope for you is that this year, I think this might be my first, well, I've come on live, but this is like the first kind of like content related piece that I'm sharing this year of 2024. And let's really go toward the things that we're fearing and understand. And I want the woman who, is sharing, is this the end of the road? Like, how do I do this? Is look, be the scientist, come into your bodies, know that how incredibly powerful you are, and take in all your energy and think about, how do I take on this mission? What is that fear that I have? How can I address the fear? How can I get the skills? How can I change my mindset? What do I need to know? And if I can support you, then brilliant. If somebody else can support you, brilliant. to go and go toward them. And then let's do big things this year because it's going to be an amazing one. I did want to say that I want you to know that I have created, I was on a Facebook group, beginner triathletes, and there was some conversation going about where are the training plans for women in perimenopause or, and the beyond, like female training plans. And I just want to say, I've got them. So if you are excited about doing triathlon, if you're excited about doing cycling races, and you want a plan, then let's connect. Let's talk. I've got plans. So it doesn't mean it's not one-to-one coaching. So there's different, but I do it differently. I definitely want to share that the way that I coach is every single one of my athletes does the MNTR. ITS, the Mindset Nutrition Training Recovery Integrated Training System, because it creates us as strong, resilient athletes. It is the methodology for which you can find consistency, find health, find longevity, find the answers of integrating so many of the different pieces and knowledge. It is phenomenal. And that's how I coach. If we want to be athlete, we need these pieces to come together and to pull it all together. You have so many uncertain, but I want you to have them all. And in an integrated way, and in a way to prioritize it as well. The other thing, so there's that. And then continuously, like we're in perimenopause and beyond, things are going to continuously change. So there's the coaching component that I do with it. So it's the plan with the coaching. And so it's a monthly fee. And I want you to be part of it. I want you to have amazing training experience. I want you to find consistency. I want you to find strength. I want you to find alignment with Dr. Stacy Sims and what she says. I want you to find the nutritional strategies that you know how to fuel, and that's what I'm about. And I can't wait to share it with you. So I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to being in conversation with you in this beautiful year of 2024. And take care, and we'll catch you soon.